Get ready to witness one of the most humiliating moments ever captured inside Judge Judy's courtroom. This wasn't just another case. It was a piece of television history. A moment so shocking that millions of viewers replayed it again and again. Why? Because a woman named Karen walked into that courtroom believing she was clever enough not only to challenge Judge Judy's authority, but to openly mock her Brooklyn accent right to her face. Yes, she actually did it, the audience gasped. The cameras kept rolling, and Judge Judy's eyes narrowed into that unmistakable stare that viewers instantly recognize. What Karen didn't realize was that she had just triggered one of the fastest courtroom meltdowns ever seen on national television. In less than a minute, just 47 seconds, her smirk would disappear, her confidence would collapse, and she would be left in tears in front of millions. Karen Mitchell wasn't just any plaintiff. She embodied entitlement. Friends described her as someone who would demand to see a manager over the smallest inconvenience. Neighbors talked about her constant complaints, her endless arguments, and her habit of turning minor issues into major confrontations. In her mind, people existed in two groups, those who served her and those who needed to be put in their place. When she got the chance to appear on Judge Judy, she saw it as her moment. She wasn't just there to win a dispute over a designer handbag. She wanted to prove she was sharper, smarter, and tougher than the most famous judge on television. From the second she walked into the courtroom, it was clear Karen came prepared for a performance, not a legal battle. She entered with confidence, as if the spotlight belonged to her. Her hair was styled perfectly, her outfit carefully chosen to project superiority. In her hand, she carried a leather folder filled with random printouts from the internet. Believing that a few pages of online research could outweigh decades of courtroom experience, to Karen, Judge Judy wasn't a legal icon. She was just another authority figure she could overpower with attitude. But Judge Judy doesn't just listen, she observes. From the very first eye roll, she was already analyzing Karen. Every exaggerated sigh, every dismissive laugh, every under-the-breath comment. It all added up. What Karen thought was confidence, everyone else recognized as disrespect. And Judy, she waited, patient, calculated, like someone who knew exactly when to strike. The case itself seemed simple on the surface. Karen was suing a former friend over a damaged designer handbag worth around $1,000. But to Karen, it was more than money. She had rehearsed this moment. She had studied past episodes, analyzed Judge Judy's speech patterns, and even practiced mocking her accent in the mirror. She believed that Judy's way of speaking was a weakness she could exploit. So, when Judge Judy asked a straightforward question, Karen seized the opportunity. She leaned forward, a smirk spreading across her face, and in a tone dripping with sarcasm she exaggerated Judy's accent back at her. "You know, Judge, it's like this." The room froze, gasps echoed. For a brief moment, time itself seemed to pause. Judge Judy didn't move, but her eyes locked onto Karen with a look that could cut through steel. The silence that followed was overwhelming, broken only by Karen's quiet chuckle as she leaned back, convinced she had scored a point. What she didn't understand was that she had just stepped into the worst mistake of her life, because Judge Judy does not tolerate mockery. And in less than 47 seconds, Karen would go from mocking to breaking down completely. Judge Judy didn't respond immediately. That was her method. Silence, more powerful than any insult. She leaned back, folded her hands, and allowed the weight of the moment to settle over the courtroom. The audience shifted uneasily, sensing what was about to unfold. Judge Judy's reputation wasn't built on rulings alone. It was built on moments like this. Moments where arrogance was turned into a lesson. Karen saw Judy's accent as something to ridicule. But to everyone else, it represented authenticity and authority earned over decades. Judy had already reviewed the case file. She had already spotted inconsistencies, exaggerated claims, and a story that didn't align. Karen had spent her time preparing jokes. Judy had spent hers preparing facts. Finally, Judge Judy spoke, calm, controlled, precise. "Miss Mitchell," she said, "this is a courtroom, not a comedy club. You will address me with respect." The words weren't loud, but they carried weight. Karen smiled wider. She thought she had gotten under Judy's skin. "Well, Your Honor," she said slowly, dragging her words, "I was just trying to keep things light." The discomfort in the room deepened. This wasn't confidence anymore. It was provocation. Karen had crossed a line. Judge Judy leaned forward slightly, her voice dropping into that quiet tone that signals something serious is coming. Did you just mock the way I speak? In my courtroom? The question hung in the air. Karen shrugged. Well, if the shoe fits, that was it. That single response sealed everything. Judge Judy had given her a chance to correct herself. Instead, Karen doubled down. Judy's eyes sharpened. Let me explain something to you, Miss Mitchell. My accent does not change the law. It does not change the facts. But your arrogance? That changes everything. The courtroom went silent. Karen's confidence flickered. She didn't realize it yet, but the foundation beneath her was already collapsing. Judge Judy picked up the paperwork. Let's begin with your claim, she said. You state this handbag cost you $1,000, yet in your written statement you list its value as $800. Which is correct? Karen hesitated. Well, after taxes. Judy cut her off instantly. Handbags do not increase in value based on your imagination. That's contradiction number one. A murmur moved through the room. And here's another, Judy continued. You say the damage occurred on April 15th, but your initial filing says April 20th. Which date are we working with? Karen tried to recover, calling it a mistake. Mistakes happen once, Judy replied sharply. You've made 17. I counted them before you even spoke. 17 inconsistencies, 17 problems. And now, no credibility left. The countdown had begun. Karen's smirk faded first. Her lips tightened. Her eyes shifted nervously. Your Honor, that's not fair. Fair, Judy interrupted. You mock this court, and now you want fairness. 15 seconds in, Karen's hands began to shake. You prepared jokes, Judy continued. I prepared facts. You rehearsed mockery. I reviewed evidence. Tell me, which one of us looks foolish now? At 30 seconds, Karen's voice cracked. I was just being passionate, she said weakly. No, Judy corrected. You were being arrogant, but passion seeks truth. Arrogance ignores it, and arrogance always loses. The room was completely still. Karen's appearance began to unravel. Her posture collapsed. Her composure vanished. At 47 seconds, it was over. Tears filled her eyes. Please, Your Honor, she whispered, her voice breaking. I didn't mean. Judy didn't let her finish. You thought mocking my accent made you powerful, she said firmly. Now the only thing being mocked is you. Silence followed, not laughter, just the heavy realization of what had just happened. Karen, who had walked in confident and prepared to perform, was now reduced to tears, begging for mercy from the very judge she had tried to ridicule. And every second of it had been captured on camera. The verdict came quickly. Your claim is dismissed with prejudice. Final dom filult. Karen's case wasn't just denied. It was dismantled. Judge Judy leaned forward one last time. Let me give you some advice. The next time you walk into a courtroom, remember this moment. Mocking authority does not elevate you, it destroys you. Karen sobbed quietly, her confidence completely gone. The audience remained silent, watching the complete collapse of someone who had walked in believing she was in control. Within hours of airing, the footage spread across the internet. Clips of Karen mocking, and then crying, went viral. Millions watched the transformation unfold in under a minute. Headlines praised the moment as a masterclass in courtroom authority. Social media exploded with reactions, memes, and commentary. Karen had wanted attention. She got it. But not the way she imagined. She became a lesson, a warning, a reminder that arrogance always falls. And in Judge Judy's courtroom, respect isn't optional. It's required, as Judge Judy closed the case. Her final words echoed far beyond that courtroom. Humility wins, arrogance loses. That's not just law, it's life.